I'll tell you about hesitation gets you yellow and mellow, so stop. I'll tell you about rumination, so why not change your life? I'll tell you about true colors, shades that live inside of you. A rainbow of feelings approaches, and you know what to do. So why not paint the whole world in colors? Stop to see the world in black and white. Open up your mind to people around you. You might get surprised when you tear down your walls. So why not paint the whole world in colors? Why are you spending your days in misery when you can change whatever you have to make a colorful world of your own?
Green, blue, yellow, black, rainbow. Red, green, blue, yellow, black.
So why not paint the whole world in colors? Stop to see the world in black and white. Open up your mind to people
Okay, I think I should be good here. Let me turn the music down. We get the show on the road. What's going on, everybody? Let's see here. There we go. Take you down to that. Feels about good. All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in. As always, I appreciate the grace with allowing me to be sick. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. Hello, Russ. Hello, Amelia. Matt. Anyone else who came in on the early crew that may have missed, thank you very much for coming through. Still furiously setting up here, so everything's not good to go, which means the transition to VR will be a little bit long. Case in point, my headset was dead when about 30 minutes ago, so we're gonna fill quite a bit before we hop into VR. So I gotta let the headset recharge all the way, and I don't want to play it through 3S because I want my headphones. Let's do this. That's still a little bit too loud, so we'll go down to about, let's go down to 8. 8's a nice number. So a couple things here. First, I need to actually, I'll do that in a minute. Hope you continue to improve health wise. I feel good enough to stream. We'll see how long this lasts. I would like to finish Drakkenridge today, but I'm not going to push myself, Russ, to finish it. If I finish it, I finish. If I don't, I don't. It's okay. And then this Thursday we'll continue into Black. I played Drakkenridge in such a disjointed way that I really feel like I've done the game a disservice anyway, so I would like to finish it, but I'm going to replay the game in private before I even give my full final thoughts, because I haven't really felt good about the story, but that's because I've played it sporadically over the course of the last 5 weeks and haven't really given it its just due. So it's gonna get a private playthrough rerun for sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna push myself. I feel okay, but if I start feeling it, you know, I'm just gonna end. A couple of things to talk about though, so come over here. Oop. First things first, there is a new channel point redeem. Before anyone redeems it, because I know you guys are really quick to jump the gun on stuff like that, I'm gonna explain real quick. It's very simple. Croy VR has a something on his channel called Oops, where whenever he makes a mistake, someone can just redeem Oops, and then whoops, let me fix that camera, and then it basically has a running counter of how many mistakes have happened on the stream. Added something, put a bit more visual element to it, so whenever there's a mistake on the stream, you guys can let me pause the music because you need to hear the sounder, because I think the sounder is glorious. And by the way, Russ, side note, your intro sounder will debut on Thursday. I made a cut of it today. I didn't like it, so I need to recut it. I might change the sounder altogether, so I'm not really happy with it, but I will have it ready by Thursday. Russ bought an intro sounder for herself off of the stream store with her pixels, and she may come to regret that decision. But whenever things go wrong on the stream, you can just redeem technical difficulties, and this will happen.
Holy shit, this stream is so broken. Holy shit, this stream is so broken.
There you go, that's technical difficulties. So that's a new one for you guys. I was playing around with adding that to the stream store, but I kind of want the stuff that like affects the stream in the moment to stay with the channel points, and then for like full stream activities or segments to be on the stream store. So just give me other heads up there. So that exists. Use it at will. This is Sweet Surrender. We played this. Thank you, Faye. I appreciate it. Faye, you are a profess quote. This man can buy it for other people. No. You cannot buy an entrance theme for someone else. So if someone else will like their own entrance theme, entrance sounder here, they have to buy it from the stream store. That actually was a good idea. But I don't want you to buy like 10 and then I'm having to make a ton of those. So yeah, if someone wants their own intro sounder, they can invest in that in the store. That's how it'll go. Plus, I don't want it being bought for someone who is newer. Like, it's priced that way for a reason. I kind of want someone who's been around the community for a while, a bit of a mainstay, that sort of situation, as opposed to someone just joined the stream off a raid or something like that. Like, hey, have an intro sounder. Like, I don't know this person. So I kind of want to get to know people before they can afford that, if that makes sense. Anyway, this is Sweet Surrender. Faye, you are a professed, in your own words, before anyone calls me out on this, Faye calls herself a roguecore. Have you played Sweet Surrender? I do not recall if we ever had this conversation. We played this game during the Rogues of March last year, where I played nothing but roguelites for the entire month. It was interesting. Not this game, just that whole month. This was one of the ones I didn't particularly care for, but that's because the opening environments were a little bit repetitive and there weren't enough different rooms in that starting area to keep me interested in the game, which is actually kind of a problem I have with most roguelites. They have since did a boss, I think they added a boss rush mode. I might be thinking another game, but I know for a fact they added a mode that you could actually save your progress during the run. So if you had to come back to it later, you could do that. But the downside to that is that it does not count towards your progression towards ranking up any of the classes or anything. So you can absolutely finish the game in more than one session, but you don't get credit for that. That's neither here nor there. The point is the game has been on Quest for, oh gosh, I think 3 years now. I think it came out in 2022 for Quest. It was later ported to PCVR, and then it has made it to PSVR 2 at the price of $25, which I think that's kind of stretching it for that game, but I think all roguelites tend to be overpriced, but that's me. Anyway, hat tip to Samson for the Let's Talk Calculus podcast. My homie who relayed this to me. This came from, if I'm not mistaken, this was from Reddit. This looks like Reddit because the format looks like shit. Question was, to the developers, have PSVR sales matched your expectations so far? Do you expect to recoup the porting costs? Only asking as I hope we'll see more of your games on PSVR 2 in the future. The response from a developer, unfortunately not. We haven't crossed 200 sales yet. Woo! I don't know yet if we're going to come close to recouping our porting costs, but I'm not very optimistic at this stage. Maybe with discounts and the holidays, we'll see. We would love to bring our future games to PSVR 2, but for now, it's going to be wait and see. That's rough, man. And they're not the only developer that I have heard who there was a, how can I put it? A very vocal minority pushing them to port to PSVR 2, and then the sales weren't there. Another roguelite, actually, Christ, I'm forgetting the name now. Someone help me out. It's the one where you're battling in a mech and you move, there's arm-based locomotion. I'm completely blanking on the name, which is sad because I actually like the game. It takes place in like some, like the quote hood part of England. There actually is a storyline with it. I'm blanking on the name. That's gonna bug me. Okay, hold on. That's absolutely gonna bug me. What's the fast way to get there? I think I tier listed them all. Oh, please, God, tell me I saved that. What is the name of that damn game? There we go. I don't know why that didn't come up. I might have put it in the wrong folder. Where are you? Underdogs. I cannot remember the name. Underdogs is the name of the game I was thinking of. When Underdogs was ported to PSVR 2, they said the same thing, that they basically didn't recoup the costs that it cost them to port the game over. So that sucks. And as much as you'll see again that same vocal minority, and we're going to talk more about PSVR 2 in a minute because we're going to watch a showcase, but as much as you see that very vocal minority saying that PSVR 2 is where developers should be porting their games and bringing their games, I've heard time and time again privately from developers messages like this, that as much of a really enthusiastic, small but mighty army that champions that platform, by and large that doesn't translate into sales. And maybe that 200 are this vocal minority who are really pushing developers to get games to their platform because they want to support every game they can get. But yeah, it's just not happening. And I think really the days, I've said this several times over, and Fade, let me know if you agree with me. I think the days of there's a new VR game, I'm going to buy it, are over. The late 2010s, early 2020s, where there wasn't a lot of like quality, and frankly I don't think there's a lot of quality now. There's a lot of games, but there's not a lot of quality. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit lower. But there's so many games that come out every week, and there's a lot more quote forever games, a lot more roguelites and social games and stuff like that people can just know life and that's all they play. That I don't feel like people are just buying games at the same rate as they were before. Let me read what Face said. Face said, it didn't suck me in for long sessions and mini sessions. I played it a bit, then stopped, unlike Light Brigade and IDU. Do you still play Light Brigade? I'm curious. I have not jumped into Light Brigade for quite some time. And I keep meaning to do it because that was one of the rogues I actually enjoyed when I did Roast March. I think the number of games released in the Jank Fest has tempered everyone's get it day one mentality. I agree with that. And I think because there are so many reviews that are coming out that are just saying the game is okay. I've said this several times. It is not okay anymore. And I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying this for the general consumer market, not just gaming, but everything. If you're trying to sell a product, it is not okay anymore to just be okay, because of the state of the world economy right now and everything that's going on. Microsoft just laid off 14,000 people, including people at Twitch. Like, there's, you know, money's tight for everyone right now, and you need something exceptional to say I'm getting that right away. And that's translating to games, which is now trickling down to the niche that is VR. And that's okay. Like, it should not be expected that everyone's going to buy games. And a lot of these developers started their journey. What's up, Arlen? A lot of these developers started their journey when the VR quote boom period coming out of COVID was happening, where people were just gobbling up games left and right during COVID and then coming out of COVID. But now their games are coming out. Those games that they started 2 to 3 years ago when they were like, oh my God, everyone's buying VR, are now they're coming out in a time where the economy's changed and the world has changed and people are just not buying at the same clip. And you're having stuff like this where a game sells 200 units. That's a full team that made this. This isn't me, Joe Blow, first game. Like, that's a full studio. Selling Games is a full studio that made that game, and it's not doing well, and that sucks. Yeah. Faye says, typically entertainment isn't the area that takes a hit during the recession, but it's just got to be good. Absolutely. And it, like, when is the last time each one of you, just as an example, went to a movie theater to see a movie? And maybe I'm wrong on this, because I've been to a movie theater in 2 years. I've got Disney Plus, I've got Netflix, I've got the ability to stream something, I'd say 60 days after it hits the theater. I think there's an acceptable level of jape. Also, you need to basically find the unicorn combo of timing, game, price. Yes, and that's something else we're going to talk about here because we're about to watch a showcase in a minute. I think timing is probably the biggest piece of that. It's been over 2 years. Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you, right there with you, Arlen. 2 years since you've been to a movie. I'm with you. And I meant to see Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters. Never got around to it. Meant to see a couple of indie movies I was interested in. Never got around to them. Just, you know, yeah. I think timing is the biggest piece of that, and I'll go ahead and get into this now because we talked about this a few streams ago. We were talking about the insane number of games that are coming out in November of all across the spectrum. Story-based games, horror games, multiplayer games, PvP games. Whoops, I still have Discord open because I'm showing this, so we go ahead and get rid of this now. The amount of stuff that's coming out this month is absolutely insanity. What's up, Awful? Yeah. So if I'm me, if I were releasing my game, which I almost said out loud, and I'm trying really hard not to say the name out loud, I think about 3 of you know what the title of the name is. If you want to know, DM me. I just don't want to say it on stream. I don't want to put it out in the public yet. If you want to know what the name of the game is. But anyway, if I were putting out my game, no shot I put it out in the last 3 months of the year. October, November, December are completely off limits to me. And if come 2027, my game is not ready by August, it gets pushed to 2028. Because, like Harvey there, yeah, game was janky, yeah, but it's cheap and the timing and console was perfect. Yes, absolutely. And that released in the window where people were like, I'll play this because nothing else is really going on right now. If that game comes out a month from now, when some like the AAA studios start dropping all their stuff, yeah, I mean, the last big release was probably Ghost of Yotei, and that's a PSVR. That's our PSVR. That's a PlayStation 5 exclusive right now. Before that, probably Claire Obscure, and that game's about 6 months old now. So the one that I think was multi-plat. But yeah, I think timing's such a critical piece of that. A critical piece of that. I have it in my mind. Battlefield. Yeah, okay, I'll give you Battlefield 6. That was early access. I tend to discount early access games and like move them out. But yeah, Battlefield 6, that's fair. There's a lot of games coming out this month, only one definite and 3 maybes. But that's the point. That's the point, Faye. One of those 3 maybes, let's say one of those 3 maybes comes out in April was Ghost Town. But let's say one of those 3 maybes comes out in a month where nothing else is coming out. Let's say Siberia, just as a strong maybe, comes out in June. June was like a ghost town, no pun intended. There was a dearth of VR content in June. One Kaze underscore, thank you very much for the resub, buddy. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So yeah, when I say timing, Faye, I'm like, would you have been more likely to buy it in June when that would have been the only game you bought that month because it was a really dry period, versus November, if that makes sense? I already have Glassbreakers. Yeah, I should get a copy of Glassbreakers. I actually should have Battle Marked by Friday too. Nope. Really? That's interesting. Okay. So like a game releasing, maybe I'm off on this timing thing, a game releasing in a period of a slow period doesn't incentivize you more to buy it. It's all about the jank. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, let me rephrase that, and this is for everyone, not just for Faye. Let's say you're in Faye's boat and there's a game coming out during the month where there's a whole bunch of games coming out, and one of those is what you call a strong maybe. So let's say it comes out at a different time. It comes out in June. Well, it's like everyone else's though. Yeah, that's good that it's great that in November there's enough variety out there that we can have different lists. If something was a strong maybe in a strong month for you, for anyone in chat, does it move up your list if it's in a weak month? If a game releases in like April, May, June, is it more likely for you to make, is your interest level in it higher because it's coming out during a slow period, or does it not really matter? It's all about the game quality itself. Because in my mind, God bless the fact that I'm in the Quest Creator Program. There's no way I'll be able to afford the, I think, 9 games I listed that I want to buy this month, that I would get this month. But if, let's say, Siberia came out in May, I would have got it automatically, because that would have been the only game that would have gotten in May, if that makes sense. A lot was coming out is my thing. Me too. Like honestly, I'm not a big PvP guy, but Demio is like a top 5 favorite VR game for me, so I'm gonna play Battlemark. I'm gonna support Polyart Games in anything they do, so Battlemark is on the list. Otherwise, if those games were not made by those studios, I probably wouldn't have had an interest in them. Well, let's take Wanderer. Slow months didn't stick for me. Okay, that's fair. Poor Wanderer though, man. Like if that game had released in a state that was fit to play, I can't. Battlemark. Yeah, I'm sorry. Glassbreakers. My bad. Glassbreakers. Polyart. My bad. Glassbreakers. I'm saying those 2 games, Battlemark and Glassbreakers. I'm buying those because I trust the studios, not because I have. And Demio's one of my favorite games. Like not because I have a massive interest in playing PvP. I just trust those studios to know that they'll be good. But yeah, I just. Battlemark doesn't know for me. It just thinks, I think, yeah, that's fair, and that's perfectly fair. But the fact that you have 1 definite and 3 maybes, is awesome. I think that's huge, because how many months this year have there been 4 new games coming out that you wanted to play? Like I'm pretty sure this is the first month. I don't buy many new games. I used to buy a lot of. I'll read your message in a second. I don't buy. I used to buy a lot of Sims DLC, but we're no longer supporting EA. Ah, gotcha. Have they said what they're gonna do with Sims yet, or is it just because of the purchase you're just done with them? Amygdala Protocol is a maybe needed for a release. That is a maybe for me to watch Clay play it. I will not be buying the Amygdala Protocol. It looked creepy. No, thank you. Siberia, I want to know the state of it at release. Yeah, I'm nervous because I think that's the first time VR developer making that. It is a bit of a walking narrative, so I'm hoping that it at least translates okay. And the same with the House of Da Vinci translated fine, even though there's some rough edges there. what Arlen said, this is my hot take about where gaming is. I think the general zeitgeist and stresses of society and the state of the world economies have impacted where and what people turn to decompress, be it video games or movies. Might be off here in my head, it feels sort of, no, I mean, I said that just before you came in, so I'm right there with you. Minus girl, I'm afraid of because of the trailers. I am afraid of that too, because they put the flat trailer out for the VR game. So I think the jank factor on that may be a little high. Again, that is, I'm fairly certain that's the first time VR developer. I'll double check that in a second. But yeah, all that stuff just makes me a little shaky on whether or not we go there. There's a blog here that I was reading, and it's from Meta. I don't think I'm gonna read this whole thing because I started reading this before stream started, and I think I need to. There's a couple of points here that I think I might save this for Thursday. It's basically about how My Dearest, that used to make premium VR titles, have now pivoted to the stuff you're seeing in these screenshots, and it basically saved their company. And it's Meta making the case, because this is on Meta's official website, their official blog, about how going to casual free to play is still a good path. Yeah, only quite often. Well, not quite often. I'd say twice a month they put something up, and usually it's from a developer. Russ, no, but a large chunk of the Sims creator network have left them. Pretty much every Sims 4 creator I have in my sub list on YouTube is starting to experiment with new content. Okay. What did My Dearest do prior? The Tokyo Cronus game. So, Altoday Beyond Cronus. This Groningen Cronus Alternate, one of my favorite VR games of last year. I thought that was terrific. One of the best stories I've ever seen told in VR. Tokyo Cronus, Altoday Beyond Cronus, and this Groningen Cronus Alternate are their 3 games. So basically VR visual novels. That were sold for anywhere from 20 to 40 bucks in total. So yeah, this kind of niche to begin with. I mean, VR itself is niche, but yeah, I mean, I get your point. Like, but they're not the only developer that have been either dipping their toe into the free-to-play market or just full-on like pivoted towards it. Show Games has released a free-to-play game. Sin Studios has released a free-to-play game. There's people who made a Swordsman VR, and Mythic Realms, I think, is the mixed reality game. And they're finding success with that, which is allowing them to make more premium titles. So they're not the only developer who's going there. Clue, the people who make Synth Riders, are now making some Horizon World content. They've released a few things for that. Like these they're basically trying to. I'm not saying they're pivoting their whole studio towards stuff, but they're definitely doing the things that they have to do to keep the lights on, to be able to do things they want to do. And when you see a situation like what happened with Reach, where Reach. Part of it was their own doing, but released a premium title and it's not doing well. And the same thing happened last year with Behemoth. Skydance Behemoth did not sell well. Metro Awakening did not sell well. Studios are kind of trying to see where the money is. Let's see. Okay, Russ still on the Sims thing, which probably won't do much, but it's a pretty spooky situation with the biggest supports. They've been like, absolutely not, we'll play something else. Part of it was their own doing. The way the game released, the way Reach released, I think hurt them a lot. You cannot release a game that soft locks and expect to do well. Asgard's Wrath 2 went through that. It was only doing, yeah, 100%. And it's a shame because not part. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying that I thought you were saying it's not their fault. I gotcha. Okay, sorry, I went the opposite way from the way you were going. The settings put out make it pretty clear it's because of the sale though. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm with Russ. A lot of people just basically said, okay, EA is owned by Saudis, fuck them. Yeah, so I totally get that. The business models of today are a mess. It is because I think, like, it feels weird to say this. I think they're scared because they've seen there's been so many layoffs and so many studios closing or being sold off, or people like how we get to Walkabout, Russ? Yeah, how'd that happen? Yeah, it's just everyone's struggling, and I get it, and they're trying to do whatever they have to do to keep the lights on. I completely get that. So yeah, I'll read this article in full and I'll kind of break it down on Thursday, because what I read was really interesting, but I don't want to read it. I don't want to go into this without having read the whole thing and then try to have a discussion about it. So I'll read the whole thing and then we'll talk about it on Thursday. Since we're DLC. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because we were talking about like them being bought by Saudis and somebody we got to walk about. So yeah, like we went from A to D and we skipped B and C, so I was a little lost there. All right, let's pause here. The VR game showcase. This is the one hosted by Jamie Felton has announced that they are doing another show before the end of the year.
VR Game Showcase is back for one more round in 2025. VR's biggest direct style showcase returns at 9 AM PT on November 13th. We've got new game announcements for 2025 and beyond, as well as fresh looks into some of this holiday's biggest games.
And now you're alone.
Including Star Trek Infection, Deadly Delivery, Glass Breakers, Champions of Mars, and Siberia VR. Plus, there's updates on the great games you're already playing, including Bootstrap Island, Freefall, and Among Us 3D. And we'll be back with the VRGS pre-show kicking off just ahead of the main event, with even more game announcements and updates from developers both big and small. We're once again partnering with IGN for co-streaming, and for the first time, we're officially teaming up with our friends at Road to VR for exclusive insights into the games featured. You'll also be able to watch along with some of your favorite influencers. Don't miss the final VRGS of the year at 9 AM PT on November 13th. Subscribe to the VR Game Showcase channel so you don't miss out.
That is next Thursday at noon, my time here Eastern. I will most likely be at work, so I will not be able to stream this live. If I'm on Thursday, we're going to react to this live. We'll just throw up a stream and hang out for a bit, for like an hour, and then bounce, and then we'll stream that night. If not, we'll watch the whole thing in its entirety that night. Our Abandoned Bashies are... I never played that one. I never got around to that one. Nose Quest version of Robo Quest. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute, because... I don't think it's petty only. I think they just need more time to port it down the Quest. I don't think that's petty at all. And I am fully in favor of developers who are stretched thin not launching on every platform every time. Because the number of absolute fucking messes we have seen this year from multi-platform releases is pretty staggering. And that's some of these developers, like for instance, Mighty Eyes, who released Wander the Fragments of Fate, just releasing on 2 platforms at once. So I am perfectly okay if they need more time to make sure the Quest version doesn't look and run like shit, to wait on that. I'm perfectly okay with that. Like, I get where your cynicism comes from. I just can't see them being that, like, we're just going to make them suffer. No, like, that's not, Flat to VR is not a large team. So them trying to triple launch on, they did it with Trumbull Champ. Trumbull Champ did not hit all 3 platforms at once. One of them was Stagger. I'm pretty sure it was PC VR. So... And Out of Sight VR still hasn't launched on Quest yet, or it just did, one of the two, but did not launch on Quest when it first came out. So, yeah, not surprised that they are not going to simul launch, because they probably shouldn't. It's probably a bad idea. Even Out of Sight had a massive performance spike midway through the game that stopped a lot of people, myself included, from being able to finish it, because for some reason it spiked GPUs on a bunch of different systems on PC. So it's weird, but it happened. The other thing that happened today is PlayStation VR 2 Day, which is what Oni was kind of referring to. This is where some of the news that came from. I have not watched this. I don't know, other than the RoboQuest thing, because I saw that spoiled for me elsewhere. I don't know a single thing that was announced in this. So we're just going to watch this together. Even though I do not have PSVR 2, I support and promote all aspects of VR, even ones platforms that I'm not on. So, yeah. It's better for a game to come out next year and be right versus next week and be broke. 100%. Irreversible looks fun. Irreversible does look fun. That's another one that made my wish list because it was marketed and sold very well in screenshots and trailer. So, all right, let's take a look at this. This is 30 minutes long, so we're just gonna kind of hang out, react to this. If you've seen this already, I apologize. Come back in 30 minutes. We'll be in VR. If you haven't, get back, get some popcorn. Let's watch. I'll shrink my camera down a little bit too.
Hey you guys, I'm Brian Paul, and welcome to PS No Space VR2 Day here at Without Parole, a celebration for everyone who believes in the future of our headset. Flat to VR is focused on taking traditional
Our
flat screen
headset.
games and then rebuilding them from the ground up so that they play like true native VR experiences. We have a lot to share today, including some launch updates, behind the scenes developer interviews, and yes, if you stick around, we're even giving away a PlayStation 5 Pro. So let's get right into it. Over to you, Jasmine.
They're having Jasmine host? That's interesting. I thought Brian would have done the whole thing.
Thanks, Brian. Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine Muniza, CEO and co-founder of Impact Reality and Flat2VR Studios. We are so excited to be doing this showcase today. PSVR 2 players are some of the most passionate and loyal and outspoken gamers out there. Like, we see you on Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and all the platforms. Honestly, your energy is just incredible. You want every game to take full advantage of all the features that are available. And
I can't help but point out that is a massive advertisement for Cat VR just sitting right behind her.
we feel the same way. So whether you are wishlisting or buying a game day one or commenting, bring it
Define
to PSVR
incestuous
2 on
only
devlogs and
in this
posts,
sense.
or sharing clips or just talking about VR with all your friends. Like, that kind of energy is exactly what our industry is built on. So thank you so much for tuning in, and please enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, I'm Adam, founder of Insane Prey, the team behind Rager. The original idea behind Rager was to create something where players will essentially feel like they are fighting inside a movie. And by playing many great combat and rhythm games, I realized that if you combine these two elements together, you might get a really unique
Fighting
and
inside
cinematic
a
audio-visual
movie?
experience.
I'm not.
And hopefully we've achieved that.
I'm not.
Now we've seen so many of you in the comments asking, literally in every post, is it coming to PSVR 2? And I am very
Thank you,
excited
Faye.
to officially confirm that Rager is coming to PSVR 2 in Q1 2026. You know, PlayStation was always something where I wanted
Maybe it's
to bring
the
my own
language
game,
barrier
and now we are
'cause
very close to do it. So
English
it's
isn't
super
his first
cool.
language.
And of course, there is a very passionate community of gamers who like to play intense games, and Rager is definitely one of them. Right now, they don't have a chance to try it, but in a few months they
His
will
soul
have, and
died.
that's awesome. So I can't wait to show you more, guys, and thank you for pushing us to make this happen. Cheers.
I'm gonna comment what Oni said real quick before we keep going on this. He said he finds way too many people that work for the company that are also influencers that happen. Yes, and I get what you're saying. I will say that for the most part, a couple of them have kind of blurred the lines, but for the most part, they've kept their flat to VR impact reality interests separate from their content. Like Jasmine, for instance, has completely pivoted to smart glass content. She just does Meta Ray Ban stuff. Occasionally she'll touch a game every now and then, but for the most part, she just went on full on to AR glasses, and that's the stuff that she covers in tech. She's not really talking about games anymore. I think because she realized there's a conflict of interest. Miles Dyer still just streams VR all the time, and he's still a mega fan. So I don't know. Like I know Brian Paul, who runs Without Parole, does not work for them, and this was kind of like a partnership. But I'm sure it was born out of the fact that Miles, who was Brian's partner for a really long time, on their PSVR Without Parole podcast, now works for Impact Reality, and I'm sure that's how this came about. But thank you, SiriBot, just coming out hard. Coming out hard. Like it, or his puppy died. Yeah, I think that guy might have had a language barrier thing, because he sounded like he was being very careful in picking his words, and I wonder if English is not his native language, and that's why he came off a little bit dry, because he was thinking about pronunciations and stuff like that. So they does the Virtual Strangers, guys. Yeah, and like I think there's a reason that Between Realities has ended. I don't really understand. I don't really care about Virtual Strangers. I don't really care about, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. To me, it's like a bunch of people, a bunch of content creators who also have programming backgrounds got together with some people and formed a studio, and they're trying to help grow the industry. I think the intent of that is pure, even if it's a little weird because of who's behind it. But I say this as a content creator who's also making his own game. So I don't know. They're at least trying to push the industry forward. So even though I don't agree with some of the things that they're doing, they're at least putting the effort out. So I can at least appreciate that, even if I don't necessarily agree with their direction. All right, keeping it moving. So we just awkward on camera. Yeah, that too.
Hey everyone, I'm Stefan from Ballback Games. We have been really happy with the launch of Surviving Mars Pioneer, and it has been incredible seeing the creativity in the habitats you have been building across the Red Planet. A big thank you as well to everyone sending in clips and bug reports. That kind of feedback
His puppy
generally
didn't
helps
die.
us improve the game faster. The PSVR2 community is one of the most hands-on and invested audience we have ever worked with. It truly feels like a real collaboration. We are currently polishing up a final quality of live updates, including localization for international players, and we have also some seasonal DLC items coming soon for those who want
that
to
frame
make the
rate.
habitats feel even more like home. And for those who played Genotype before this, thank you. It was fantastic seeing the positive response from the PSVR2 players who spent time
Why
with
is your cat smacking me, Arlen? What'd I do? Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Hey everyone, happy PSVR2 Day. I hope that you're enjoying the show so far. With that said, it's about to get a whole lot better because in just a few weeks' time, we're going to draw one lucky person to win a brand new PS5 Pro. What's even better is that just by being here right now, your chances have just gone through the roof. Here's how you enter. First, click the link in the description down below to visit the giveaway page on Gleam. There you'll find a number of ways to earn entries, most of which you've already done anyway. But you'll notice at the very top of the list a place
Shadowgate.
to enter special codes.
Interesting.
Codes a lot like this one. I said codes a lot like this one here. Entering each one of these codes will give you a ton of entries in the giveaway, and you'll find them occasionally throughout today's event. But don't take too long to redeem these codes. They're meant for you and you alone, so they'll only remain active for a short time after this broadcast. It's our way of saying thank you to each and every one of you who continue to
I didn't mind
support
Wes.
what
I
we
could not
do.
stand Roots, Arlen.
So,
I thought Roots was
Good luck, everyone.
insufferable.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Roots is one of those. I want VR to do this because this is the only VR I care about. The VR doesn't do this, it sucks. Like he is one of those
Hey
people that
everyone,
doesn't.
I'm Elliot, the
Hold on, shut up, Elliot. Roots is one of those people that if it doesn't hold value to him, it doesn't hold value at all. And I can't stand that mentality. I can't stand Roots. Moving on.
Chief Creative Officer at Impact Reality and Flat to VR Studios. Trombone Champ Unflattened was the very first game we released as Flat to VR Studios. And a lot of people ask, like, why Trombone Champ? I think it's really the perfect way to show what we believe VR is capable of. Joyful, immersive, fully physical, full of these amazing, rewarding moments. And it was a game that was completely 2D, and it really showed what we could do to take the original source code, the original game, and really reimagine it so it felt like it was built from the ground up for VR. We're so grateful to Holy Wow Studios for trusting us to adapt it to VR. And now we're approaching the 1 year anniversary of the PSVR 2 release. In some ways, it does feel like yesterday, but in others, it feels like a lifetime
Elliot,
ago.
you're dragging, buddy.
Just
Get
with
to the
some of
point.
the
Get to
other
the
cool
point.
stuff I can't wait to share with you that we've been working on. So, to the PSVR 2 community, thank you. You guys are amazing, incredible. You've been so supportive of what we've been doing. We know that some of you even, it's not even your kind of game, but you just believe in the Flat to VR mission and bought it. And that level of trust means everything to us. Seeing your clips, hearing your laughter, watching you absolutely lose it playing this game has
Tom
been
Arnold,
fuel
like
for
the
our
Tom
entire
Arnold?
team. Since the game launched, we added quite a lot of content. New songs, new trombones, new environments.
This is killing me.
New features, all kinds of other stuff. And we still have more planned. But just want to let you know we're always
Hey,
listening.
relax.
If there's features or songs you want to see added, please just keep telling us. You really do help inspire what we build next. So as a thank you for your support, check out the live chat right now. We're dropping free keys for our new Undertale and Deltarune song pack. That's so much fun. So thank you and enjoy.
That drags so hard. We've added tons of new features and stuff and features and stuff and stuff and features.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm founder of Kinemotic Studios, and I am the choreographer and co-creator of Audio Trip.
And I'm Brady Wright, lead engineer and co-creator of Audio Trip.
We are excited to announce that Audio Trip is coming to PSVR 2.
Now move your body, it's just a beat.
We're so excited. This has been something we've been waiting for and excited about since almost 8 years when we first started working on the game. Audio Trip was really inspired by the music. It was music that we loved, that we felt in our bones.
One in the chat, if you played Audio Trip before.
Find a way to bring that feeling to other people through VR.
We designed Audio Trip so you could experience the music as fully as possible. We get you to dance so you can feel it in your body. We created the environments unique to each song so you could see what the music looks like. And as you dance through the environments, you experience the journey of each song. That's why it's called Audio Trip.
I'm really excited for Audio Trip to be coming to PlayStation because the PlayStation community, more than any of these other platforms, the platform itself is focused on games and play and fun. I mean, it's in the main PlayStation. And from the beginning, our philosophy with Audio Trips is that it was going to be a great workout and great exercise and all these other side benefits, but the central focus of it is having fun and just playing and enjoying the music.
It's awesome to be part of this event, and we cannot wait to hear your thoughts when Audio Trip arrives on PSVR 2
They should have led
on
with this couple.
November 11th.
So wishlist it now on the PlayStation Store, and
We'll see you on the virtual dance floor.
They should have went first. They should have led off. They had great energy. Her especially. Not hi, I am from Studio
My
X.
name is Dave Marsh. I'm the creator of Shadowgate and the founder of Zoojoy. Back in 1987, I helped design and develop the first-person fantasy adventure game. And the goal was to make it as completely as immersive as possible.
Let's
which was
fucking
pretty
go!
difficult to do on a black and white Mac or on the Nintendo Entertainment System. But in virtual reality, we're able to do just
Are you gonna play
that,
it, Russ?
And you can find yourself immersed in the dungeons of the living castle, solving puzzles.
I loved
and
this
fighting
game.
monsters. It's pretty wonderful. I'm also excited about telling you that the game is coming to the PlayStation VR 2 on November 25th. So I encourage you to go over to the store, the PlayStation Store right now, and push that wish list button. Thanks for keeping adventure gaming alive in VR, and can't wait for you to experience everything that Shadowgate VR, The Mines of Mythrock, is going to bring to you. Thanks again.
They are still working on the sequel. It was supposed to come out this fall, and then it got delayed because it wasn't ready yet. I can say that with 100% certainty. That sequel is coming.
Developer of Outerside VR at Flat2 VR Studios. The response to our early access launch on Steam earlier this year has been amazing. The feedback has genuinely helped us shape the game, and we have seen so much excitement from the PSVR 2 community as well. We are getting close, but we want to make sure that the PSVR 2 version fully takes advantage of what the hardware can do, especially for a game so driven by scale, presence, and immersion. The game is coming along beautifully, and we are extremely excited to bring it to PSVR 2. But we need just a little more time before it is ready for you. So for now, we just wanted to thank you so much for your patience and support.
Unnecessary.
We cannot wait to share more with you next year.
Unnecessary.
Hey everyone, AJ here. Now I know a lot of us have been eagerly anticipating hearing more about V-Racer Hoverbike coming to PSVR 2. So today we've got the lead programmer over at Vertex Breakers, Francois Desjardins, who's here to share some exciting updates with us. Francois, as a community full of hardcore racing enthusiasts, VR adrenaline junkies, a huge Wipeout fan base, and like 12 of us, myself including, that are fans of Jet Moto, don't worry, I've got your back, guys. We couldn't be any more excited to have you here today to share some more news. Welcome. It is so nice to meet you, and how you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Yeah, most of the
I've been
devs,
following
Russ.
the channel for
Most
quite
of
a
the
while,
developers.
obviously, and we talked back when we launched the Quest version, and you were one of the first guys to really push us to go to PlayStation VR. So thank you for that.
Well, the pleasure will be all mine very, very soon.
Russ, how many developers and other computer tech-minded people do you think are in front of a camera, are good in front of a camera? Just throwing it out there. It is a special skill to be able to be good in front of a camera. I'm not good at it.
For anyone who hasn't seen it before, what is V-Racer Hoverbike
Yeah, I
in your
agree.
own words?
It's basically a futuristic VR racer that pays homage to Wipeout, of course, and other games that we are big fans of. That includes Jet Moto and things like Mario Kart, for instance. Except that in V-Racer, you ride a hoverbike like this one, only bigger.
That's cool.
I need to get me one of those. What makes a V-Racer feel different from other VR racers?
I think it's the core control system
Yeah, he
that
has.
is
He really has.
based around leaning your chest to take turns on the track.
No, he's noticeably
the
smaller.
idea is that it's a very natural
hitting the
way
gym
to
hard.
control
Good
your
for him.
trajectory, and it helps a lot with motion sickness as well. And it really allows you to have very long playstations with the game.
And I think this system, I think you guys really nailed it. The
I think
leaning
you meant play
feels
sessions
both
there.
immersive, but it also controls really
Ding.
well. And I think that's one of the biggest hurdles that a lot of these games with like the virtual joysticks or virtual HOTAS, virtual steering wheels have. It's been kind of a bumpy road to get that just right. So really
Said
couldn't agree
immersive.
more about the
Big delay on the refresh. Okay.
leaning system being the right call here. So why was PlayStation VR 2 an important platform for you, and which key features are you taking advantage of?
Well, first, being on PlayStation is like a child's dream, you know. We always wanted to be there.
I just noticed I had a lag spike, so I'm actually gonna wait for a minute. When only say he had delay, I looked at my OBS and like it spiked like crazy. So I was finding it fascinating how many of them there's been. I think it's kind of a shame because it's making it hard to be interested in their stuff. I agree. I 100% agree with that. I think Jamie Felton has the right idea, and Upload VR had the right idea of letting a presenter do most of the work there, and instead of just putting a bunch of developers who aren't comfortable in front of a camera in front of the screen, because some of these have been pretty awkward. Can everyone refresh, please? Because thank you, Oni, but yeah, I definitely had a lag spike there. And then we'll do a lag test. Oni, are you back yet? I dropped 5.5% of my frames in the last like 2 minutes. Oni, put the number 1 in chat, please. Russ, put the number 2 in chat. Okay, that was 5 seconds. Carrie, put the number 3 in chat. Russ is a little bit higher, but Russ is always higher because I know she's on her phone. Only seems to be okay. Shit. I don't know if Carrie heard me. Hey, Carrie, when you hear this, put the number 4 in chat, please. Carrie, put the 2. Carrie, put the number 4. I think we're okay, but we'll see. Unless Carrie's super delayed. 4. That was about 15 seconds. That's a little scary. You're on PC, which is worse than that thing your phone. Yikes. All right, well, the fact that you're at 9 seconds is pretty good. You refresh, but you find my... Okay, all right. And your message came through on the chat scroll pretty quickly, so I think we're good. All right, let's keep going here.
There at some point. And then when we launched for Quests back in spring this year, we received a lot of love from PSVR fans and
your connection.
And
okay.
Of course,
all right.
As you said, the game is really has some PSVR DNA, so it just felt natural that we should get there at some point. Now, when it comes to features, the PSVR version is actually pretty close to the PC VR in terms of graphics. It's got 90 frames per second native, dynamic foveated rendering. And on top of that, we had PlayStation specific stuff like headset rumble, adaptive triggers. We also have support for the bhaptics suits from day one. And so all of that is coming with a game that's fully packed with different game modes, time trials, combats, endless runner, multiplayer, online challenges, livery editor. So it's fully loaded from day one. It's got 30 tracks, and so you get the whole package from day one.
Yeah, this is a very content-rich and polished game, which you don't often see from smaller studios like you guys, and that's just one of the many reasons.
Smaller
to be
studios is a backhanded
excited about
compliment.
it.
You shouldn't have said
So,
that.
Francois, you have a special announcement to make today. What is it?
Oh yeah, we'd like to announce that the game is actually coming out. Let me check.
Right now?
Today.
Again, that could have been shorter. I feel like I'm watching 3-minute game trailers right now. I have another comment, but I'm gonna wait for this section to finish before I pause again. Oops, sorry.
Oh my God.
Okay, real quick, before we go to the next thing, I need to point this out because I've been doing a lot of like market research as I look into what will eventually be my marketing campaign that'll start next year for my game, and I am fascinated by I'm gonna say this. One of the tenets, come over here for a second. One of the tenets that I found that I think developers tend to fall a little flat on, and that's part of why I wanted to watch this, is that God, my green screen's so bad. Oh, this light's not on. What happened there? Don't know what happened there. That's still not much better, but okay. One of the tenets and things that I've picked up on is 5 years ago, you could just say VR and that was okay. But over the course of the last few years, there has definitely been 3 separate emerging markets. There's some crossover between them, but if you're marketing to the PlayStation VR crowd, they almost don't care what the game is. The first question they'll ask is, does it use dynamic foveated rendering? Is it a native 90 hertz or is it 120 reprojected? Does it use headset haptics? Does it use adaptive triggers? Does it use eye tracking in any meaningful way other than ETDFR? And then they'll say, is the game good? It is, and I find that fascinating that specifically for the PSVR 2 crowd, almost every developer, when they're marketing to them, and they're learning this, yeah, that's 2 minutes. When they're marketing to that crowd, they are specifically calling out those features of their game before you can even get to what the game is. Like, we got all that information about the game before we saw the trailer. So they had to basically sell the audience on, yes, we are taking advantage of all the stuff that this headset has to offer before you could actually see any gameplay footage, and even the gameplay footage was on PC. And I find it really, really interesting. And I've seen enough of this with the PSVR 2 crowd to know that this is something that they deeply care about. They want to know that not so much that you're bringing your game over, but you're also bringing your game over and still, like I just said, that like there's still, you have to take advantage of the features that they're invested in, and that's why they bought that headset. Only said, I mean, those are the things that they've hung their hat on as to why the PSVR 2 is superior. Yes, I agree. And if you don't have one of those features in your game, that is the first thing they'll complain about. I wish there were headset haptics here. I wish, like, I've heard Clay do it, and it's just almost like on autopilot. It's just something that he kind of picks up on. It'd be really cool if there were like headset rumble here and stuff like that. Like, that's stuff that he thinks about when he plays PSVR 2, and he's not isolated. Like, there's a lot of people that I've seen do that. I just find that absolutely fascinating. Whereas when it comes to PCVR, it's just a shitty Quest port. Are you using high resolution textures? Are you doing this, that, the other thing? Before, is the game any good? And with Quest, it is, number one, is it free, and number two, is the game fun? And then like it's so interesting to see how vastly different and segmented those markets have become. There are people like me who are multi-platform, and I'll play anything on any platform. It doesn't really matter. But the people who are like ingrained in their ecosystems, for good, for better or for worse, this is not a complaint at all, and it's not me denigrating them at all. It's just very, very specific what they look for, and I find that fascinating. If you're using a PSVR 2, using that headset specifically for a reason. Well, not necessarily. Like using that headset because you might be a part of the Sony ecosystem and don't want to go out of that. Like we've all met diehard PlayStation fans, diehard PC gamers, not diehard Xbox people, diehard Nintendo people, that don't want to leave that ecosystem. So I think that's part of it too. But yeah, similar to what you're saying, specifically to what Only said too. Like they're wanting to feel like this headset that they invested in is using all these features in their games. Need to play my PSVR 2 for a few weeks and nothing else, see if I start to get it. I'd be really interested only if you committed to that, how you, if that would sort of shift your perspective on it. Or if you played, Arla, answer that question in a second. Or if you played a bunch of games on PSVR 2 that you've already played before, if you started to bump into that. So if you play Titan Owls on PSVR 2, if you play Pixel Dungeon, I don't know Pixel Dungeon's on there. I'll wait for Arlen to come back from ads before I respond to his question, because I don't want to respond and he's not here. So I'll wait for the ads to end and then I'll respond to what Arlen said. Russ, I'm just happy to have a game in the Pico store. How many Pico games do you own? I'm curious, because I think you bought most of your stuff on Steam. Are there some games that you have bought on Pico? Oh, Arlen is here. Okay, let's respond to Arlen then. Arlen asked, oh, your Prime sub. That's why I missed that icon. I was looking for my gemstone there. Arlen said, is that driven by the issue that Quest has a higher children driven user base? Arlen, that's been the thing before this whole shift to free to play happened. Is it free? It's something that I read since 2021. In Facebook groups, in subreddits, and Discords. That's been the thing for years. It's just become more heavily focused on because now they're kids. But if anyone tells you that this wasn't a problem in 2021, they're lying. Look how bad the referral system got, to where people literally would not buy a game if they didn't have a referral. And people were spamming their reviews into Quest stores to say, hey, this game's awesome, 10 seconds after it came out. Hey, the game's awesome, 5 stars, use my referral code. Like, this was that whole discount culture and that whole prevailing sense of, is it worth it? Like, their warped sense of value has been a thing basically since the referral system was created when the Quest 2 launched. The reason why has shifted, but that's been the problem before the kids. I have an equal about games across both stores. Okay, cool. It's just been a lot fewer games in the store. Yeah, I totally get that. I completely get that. Another run-up once the community was Ra's going to be the best, and they're sticking to it. You're going to feel rain on your face. Only if you decide to do that. I only think it needs to be 2 weeks. I think it'll be 1 week. By the way, I'm getting a new headset. I'll tell you guys about that as soon as we finish this. Yeah, if you do that, Orlin, Oni, I'd be really curious how that goes for you. Like, I'd love to like do that case study with you and ask you questions and stuff. So is this more us customers striving to race to the bottom? When it comes to Quest, I would say, yeah. Actually, when it comes to gaming, period, I think gaming in general has a massive discount problem and has a massive perception of value problem. Now, some of that is driven, of course, by the global economy and stuff like that. But this was a problem back during COVID, where literally wait for a sale became the absolute prevailing notion. And then between bundles on like Humble Bundle and Fanatical and on Steam itself and Quest itself, so many of us have so many games in our backlog that I think the day one mentality is my jive with 7 string streak, buddy.
Mindjive_ coming in hot with the 7 stream watch streak.
I was saying it was gonna do your emails. Thank you, buddy. Thank you and welcome back for the ads, everybody. Yeah, I think gaming in general has that issue. I'll come back over here. And it's only gotten worse over the last 2 or 3 years. And for VR specifically, like, it takes a lot for a game to it is a much bigger lift for a VR game to be day one for someone than it was 5 years ago. Is a much bigger lift because we have a lot more options, we have a lot less money. And I'm saying options, I mean like multiple platforms we can game on, multiple games that are coming out. Yeah, like, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Haven't they booted RE4 remake yet? Again, I'm curious how that goes for you. And I mean that sincerely. Like, I would love to pick your brain after you spend, I don't even think it needs to be like 2 weeks. I think give it like a week of solid, like, every day you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours in the PSVR 2 to see how that goes. Also, it's interesting too, because going back to the movie theater thing, people are less willing to spend money on things that are only a couple of hours of entertainment. Agreed. Like, we got that whole conversation all night. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play on this to keep it going. So there's 12 minutes left in this before we hop into VR. But yeah, it's not a very, I think I might have unintentionally boiled it down to, no, it's just this and this. No, it's not that simple. There's a whole character study and case study and discussion that can spin out of this. But I do think that discount culture is at the heart of one of the things that's wrong with VR right now. Well, discount culture during COVID shouldn't be a surprise. A lot of people were working less or out of their job during COVID. Yeah, completely understand that. But I think it's stuck. And even with developers have tried to combat that, Meta completely nerfed the referral program. Completely nerfed it because it was actually hurting the ability of video game developers to market their games. I think the rampant Steam sales have kind of died down a little bit. They're still happening fairly often, but it felt like every week there was some festival or something to promote. And now it's like once a month they'll do something for a couple of weeks and then everything's calm and they'll do it again. Like, it feels less special, if that makes sense, because you know you're going to get a discount within 30 days. So yeah, and then if you buy the game for 80% off a year and a half after it comes out, are you really helping that developer at that point? Especially if you're not going to play it. Like, if you buy a $20 game for $4 and it sits in your backlog and never gets played, is that really supporting the developer? I don't know. That's not the answer. I think that's less impactful to that developer, 12 to 18 months later, than if you had not even like paid full price. If you had just played the damn game and talked about it to someone else, because word of mouth is still the best advertising known to man. Better than that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say don't buy a game for $4. I'm not. Please hear me when I say I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that it is much. By that point, like, the ship has sailed on the success of that game. There are very few games that enjoy a second life years after they come out. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying everyone should buy their game day one. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, it's very much a pervasive. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that might not be around 12 months. I think that pervasive discount culture, I think, has done more harm than good, because incremental, like, overall playtime has gone down. The perception of value in the game has gone down. And I think that's bad for the industry overall. So I have to say, games I bought 9% off were games I wouldn't have bought, and I still didn't play most of those for long before uninstalling. Yeah, and I have a really hard time, even though you did buy the game and you did play it, I have a really hard time saying that that's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's possible I'm wrong. I'm wide open to having my mind changed. But is it really good if you bought a game for $2, played it for 20 minutes, and never touched it again? Never reviewed it, never talked to a friend about it, never said, hey, you should play this game. You just played it, it was like, meh, and just kind of toss it over in the corner and never do play it again. I don't know. But I know developers really, really put an emphasis on how many units sold, because that's something that they sell to investors, shit like that. I'm way on the soapbox right now, and I'm off the topic of this thing, probably because this thing is starting to bore me. I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna try to muscle through it and finish it. But yeah, a lot of people get like Max Muster, but it wasn't my kind of game. Getting 9% not got me to buy it, but still didn't give me to play it for long. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how to say this correctly. Faye, I don't think you were meant to buy Max Mustard, if I'm honest with you. And I know you got it for like $2 or whatever it is, which is why you bought it. But you don't like platformers. You don't. And you've told me you don't really like a lot of third person games either. That wasn't a game that was made for you. Max Muster's issues are elsewhere. But there's it says $2, so I might as well get it. Does it matter if you're not gonna play it? Unless there's over 2 million people who are all saying, yeah, I'll buy it because it's $2. But if there's a couple thousand, does that really help? I don't know. I think we play $6 for a game and create say I spent $60 on this, I better play. Absolutely. I think the more you spend on something, the more likely you are to use it. Although I know people who are collecting VR headsets like they're, the Infinity Stones, and they're hardly touching them. I have 6 headsets in this house. How many of those headsets have I used in the last 6 months? 2. The Xbox Quest 3S and my Quest 3. All right, let's keep going. And I'm getting another headset too, believe it or not. More about that in a minute.
I'm Emily.
Hi,
I'm
Emily.
the creative lead at Flat to VR Studios.
My name is Zvetan, and I'm a technical designer at Flat to VR Studios.
We're here to talk about
RoboQuest VR. RoboQuest VR is a VR roguelike that offers a wide variety of movement options, weapons, upgrades, and all kinds of tools to create your own perfect builds to the point where you get so overpowered that you're like almost one-shotting bosses and you will feel like the boss.
I think that specifically for the VR space, something that has been somewhat lacking in VR is
That's
games
another
with
point
that
only
amount
that
of
we'll talk about after the
replayable
RoboQuest segment.
value that just makes you want to come back, that addictive thing that is so amazing about roguelikes. RoboQuest just has that in spades, and I think VR really needs a title like that.
The most important thing
Faye, I
to
hope you have fun playing
consider
this.
when creating a game from flat to VR is to preserve the original design and make sure that the game stays true to the initial idea that was behind it.
And you want the fans of that game, when they play it, to recognize it. Like, this is RoboQuest VR. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you're designing for an entirely new audience of VR players who maybe don't know the original game and have expectations about what a VR game looks like. So player choice is something that we often fall back to as a way to appeal to multiple audiences. And I think a great example of that is the reload mechanic in RoboQuest VR, where we do offer multiple different ways of reloading the weapon. And if you are looking for an experience that's just really fast-paced and a little bit shorter to the flat game, you can do the quick hip reload or reload by swapping your weapon. But if you are looking for a little bit more of the physicality of being able to play in VR, we do have a 2-hand manual reload option where you can grab the magazine and insert it into the weapon.
Another feature that comes to mind that worked pretty well in the flat game was the dynamic movement and in general the combat of the game. That translated really well for VR because at the end of the day it is a first-person shooter game. So those are very popular in VR, and that worked right away. Being able to jump around, grind on rails, shoot at enemies, look around, quickly shoot abilities and all that. Players can expect that to be very similar, if not even enhanced for VR. Because now you're not just watching the robot do these things, but you are the robot, you're embodying the robot, and you're in the battle, killing all these robots, facing these massive bosses. Adds up so much to the VR experience.
I think that VR fans will just love the art of RoboQuest's world. It's some of the most beautiful environments I've ever
Relax,
seen
sir.
in a game, and then in
Keep
VR
it in your
you get to
pants.
be inside of them. And building
This is
on
not your kind of
Sultan's
rogue?
point of just
Okay.
replayability is that it's a massive game, and when you think that you've seen
What makes it
so
not
many
your kind of
different
rogue?
things, then you enter into a drastically different environment.
By the way, they
that
had the
looks
best energy
so
of the whole thing so
different
far.
and
Them and the
is
audio trip people have been the best ones so
super
far.
unique. And our art team and tech art team has done a phenomenal job at making the environments really shine in VR.
I'm back with food in hand, nothing else. Okay. I don't want to end up
My
one-shotting
favorite
bosses. I want the enemy
feature
scale up as I
in
get stronger.
RoboQuest VR,
Ah,
It's a bit
gotcha.
of an odd one, but it's the perk select menu. It's something that obviously exists in the flat game. It is this widget that appears in your face, and you can select which upgrade you want to pick. In VR, that's transformed into 3D space. So now all of these choices that you have in the flat game are these 3D cards sitting in front of you, and you can grab them, look around, inspect them, read them,
and
ultimately
okay.
make your choice by selecting one of them.
One of my favorite parts is the onomatopoeias that play when you fire your weapon. That is, you fire your gun, you'll see the word like pow, but like they're written out like you're inside of a comic book. I think for VR especially, that's super cool. And also, there's a ton of fun characters in this game, which I feel like is kind of an unexpected part of the game. But there's a lot of really quirky, weird robot NPCs. Like there's a mobster guy, there's a guy who just really wants some swim trunks, there's a
I also don't like comic
caterpillar,
book sex popping up when I
Alice
shoot
in
something. Fair.
Wonderland-esque
That's fair.
guy with bubbling vials of stuff.
The combat in RoboQuest VR is fast, it's dynamic, it's unpredictable, it's challenging. It's a lot of things that I feel like advanced VR players are really gonna enjoy. It offers such a high skill ceiling that it's gonna keep you playing and playing for hours until you figure out how to bunny hop or rocket jump and do all these kinds of crazy movement technologies you can do, just because the game already offers a wide variety.
And it's not that hard to pick up. You can get in and it just feels really nice and juicy, and the combat is
Only I think you said that
intuitive.
before,
You
and
can
I
get
completely
pretty
agree with
far
that
in
about
a run
optimizing
and
the fun
you
out of a game.
die, but that's, you're supposed to, and so you get back up and you do it again. And I think just that addictive, juicy, fluid nature of the combat is both really easy to jump into, and you really want to master it and get good at it.
I've sunk so many hours into the flat game by myself and so many more into the VR one just because of the feel of being there in that world, messing around with those enemies, grabbing different upgrades, creating all kinds of like creative, unique, broken builds.
I'm gonna ask a question when this is over.
And as you're
I think I'm on the
battling
pivot.
through all of these evil robots, you're uncovering the truth behind why the world is the way that it is. And the better you get at the game, the stronger you get, the closer you get to uncovering the mysteries of this world, how humanity ended up here, how robots ended up turning on each other. And it's a really beautiful, engaging, fantastic game that I'm excited is coming to VR.
I was a RoboQuest player long before I even started working on the VR title. So to me, RoboQuest has always been one of the best roguelikes out there. And to know that we have the opportunity to bring it to VR and have VR players,
You know, I'm not gonna pivot. I won't pivot.
Is truly amazing.
Hey everybody, it's Eric from.
Oh Christ. Okay, before we deal with Masher, because he's probably gonna talk about fucking DGen VR, as I'm calling it. I refuse to give it the full name. Only said about gamers will tend to optimize the fun out of a game. Once novelty reloading is done, they just hit the button. I think there is way too much.
Potato.
Thank you, relax. I think there is an outsized emphasis on VR interactions in a game, to the point where I know there are people who will merrily, Carrie's son, a good friend of mine, Helix is one of them, who will merrily, happily spend hours and hours in a virtual reality game just organizing their bullets and cleaning their guns and going through all the physical interactions of that and just being immersed in that stuff. I think there's a point of diminishing returns with that for people outside of that very specific niche who want to be able to interact with the world. Croy's like this too, who want to be able to touch and interact with the world and kind of play, just exist in the space and play. But I think there's a point where Oni kind of says, where once the novelty of something wears off, will they just hit the button? I think there is a, I think there comes a point where if that's all the game has, then it's already kind of limiting its appeal. Or if there's so much of an emphasis on you can interact with everything in the world, but there's nothing of substance beyond that, I think that's where the game kind of starts to lose people. To Oni's point, the fact that they spent so much time talking about, so yeah, there's this reload mechanic where you can reload the gun yourself. You can actually grab your clip and reload. You're talking like that's new. That's been the thing of VR shooters since 2016. Like, why are we spending so much time on that? But because they spent so much time on that and talking about how the perk cards in a roguelike just pop up in front of you and you interact with them, again, that's been a thing in VR roguelikes for quite some time. I think Faye will back me up on this, because Faye's played more roguelikes than I have. But when I played Light Brigade, when I played Sweet Surrender, when I played even the terrible Everslot, whatever that quest version, Everslot Invasion, whatever that quest version was. Hellsweeper's another one. Like, those perks are not things that just like, oh, well, it's just a button that you hit. No, it's something that you grab or you broke or you squeezed until you fall is another version of that. I'm saying that there's nothing new here. Shenmue has opened every drawer in every building. That got old fast. Agreed. And I think there's an outsized emphasis on that in VR. And I keep talking about this when it comes to my game because I am in conflict with, Manual VR Reload has been a thing for so long as expect these days. Exactly, unless you're a Solaris off-road combat. You have a peanut butter cup question? Okay, sure, go for it. I think... But on the flip side of what Oni and I are talking about, I think when you don't put a fair amount of that in the game, people bump into it all the time. Like, you'll see people try to pick something up in almost every room they go into in VR, and you can see that split second of disappointment when they can't do it. So there's a balancing act that developers are kind of stuck on because it takes a very relaxing attribute. I've seen some prototypes that Relax is working on. I'm working on some stuff too. Relax can back me up on this. It is not easy to make all that stuff, all those different objects feel good to pick up and use in your hands. That's a lot of extra work for, unless you're someone who just loves a sandbox environment, you're not going to get much out of it. It's, to Oni's point, it's cool the first few times you do it, then you're like, okay, let me keep it moving. Let's keep going. So it's almost like maybe you make the first room or the first few areas of your game super interactive, and then you start to scale that back the further you get into the game, because the player themselves have become accustomed or like bored with it. Maybe, I don't know. Just a random idea I'm thinking of. Yeah, like your first room is like a library with like a dining room where you can pick up every single thing in front of you. And then the next room is like, nope, can't pick this shit up. Let's go on with the game. Okay, Masher, what you got?
Impact Reality and Flat to VR Studios. Flat to VR Studios has one main mission: bringing the best flat screen games to life in VR. Not just as ports, but as fully reimagined VR native experiences. RoboQuest VR is the perfect example of that, because fast, high skill, high control movement deserves to exist in VR when it's done right. And we're not doing it alone. And we are grateful to have the support of one of the most active PSVR 2 porting teams in the industry. Well, why don't we just have them say hi? Pedro, are you there?
Sure am, Eric. I'm here from VR Monkey headquarters, and it's been amazing to collaborate with Flat2 VR Studios in bringing a game with this much energy to PSVR 2.
I love these guys.
You guys know ourselves. We have been doing a lot of work on the PSVR 2, and for a good long time. I have been playing these builds that we have been working with, and I can already see what this game is going for. Like, holding the weapons, feeling immersed in the game is a totally different feel.
I like Spike again. Shit. Hold on. Shit. No, I'll give myself this just because it needs to get used more often.
Holy shit, this scene is so broken. Holy shit, this scene is so broken.
I think my net went out actually, because like my phone dropped connection too, because it dropped connection to Touch Portal. Fuck. Okay, let's go to the back screen.
Oh, hell no. I forgot how creepy this was.
Why I gotta be black though? Why I gotta be black though? Why the black got to be using the pejorative?
The light is the doorway will seek. What is the black door?
Why it got to be black? Why is black a pejorative term?
I'm gonna pass out. Clip that.
I'm just watching Mike lose it on camera.
Cable so I can continue.
Reattaching that cable would be a very illogical thing to do.
There we go. Oh, you were looking for me. Man, when they get all up on you like that, it is terrifying.
Oh, you mean the Decker, the greatest headset ever that's going to save VR from the evil clutches of meta, and everyone's going to buy one, and VR is going to go totally mainstream, and it's going to be a Decker in every single household? Because Decker, this is the greatest thing ever. Hail Gaben.
What? Oh my god. Whoa. I cannot, damn it. I know. Please, for the love of God, keep that avatar. Please keep that avatar for this stream. That's so good. There we go.
If we get, we got the straight. We get another straight. We got a nice 4 block going over to him. But of course, the game will not give us that because the boss has this rig clearly.
Oh, I got one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Stick it there. Stick it in. Stick it in. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Right there. Right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully nobody clips that.
I hope someone does clip that. Oh, Jesus. You threw the exploders in there. I don't know what the hell that was. Hell, Gaben. Okay, you just saw the Gaben clip, so you're still about 20 seconds behind. All right. Everyone refresh. I'm gonna put myself in just chatting too. All right, Faye. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what the hell's going on tonight, but you're fresh. Okay, relax. Put the 1 in chat, please. Relax. Anyone who refreshes, put the 1 in chat, because you forgot what the hell's going on here. That was 1. Russ, put the 2 in chat. Russ. Never mind. 1's fine. Okay, it looks like we're good. Yeah, my bit rate went to absolute dog shit. I don't know what happened. Everything just spiked like crazy. Okay. That means I gotta rewind what Masher was saying. What VR Monkey was saying. I was excited. This Pedro from VR Monkey. I've talked to Pedro several times. On when we were talking about Galaxy Card. They do a lot. I mean, a lot of VR porting work. Up until Flat to VR was a thing. They did a lot of second team and third team back-end work that a lot of people didn't hear about. They worked on the Inter-Radius port, a bunch of PlayStation VR 2 ports. I mean, a bunch, well over a dozen. And yeah, because they have their own games. They did Galaxy Card. They have a game out called Honeybee, something like that. It's a free-to-play offering. And yeah, they're a solid team. But they've mostly done porting work. They've done a shit ton of porting work. So yeah, it's cool to put a face to a name.
To VR studios in bringing a game with this much energy to PSVR 2. You guys know ourselves. We have been doing a lot of work on the PSVR 2 and for a good long time. I have been playing these builds that we have been working with, and I can already see what this game is going for. Like holding the weapons, feeling immersed in the game is a totally different feel from playing the flat screen game. It's just amazing. Like the trigger effect and all the details that we know that makes the difference, they're there. And I think it was just a matter of time because I love you guys. You have been working with such amazing titles, and we have been doing this for PSVR 2 for so long. And I want to thank you, the whole PSVR 2 community. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. And we can't wait for, delivering this title to put it in your hands and in your heads. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pedro. I know this is a moment a lot of you have been waiting for, so let's just get to it. I'm excited to confirm that RoboQuest VR will be launching on PSVR 2 and Steam VR on November 20th. This is a full VR rebuild with fast, kinetic, high-skill gameplay. This is everything people have loved about RoboQuest, but reimagined entirely for VR movement, flow, and gunplay. It feels incredible in the headset. And just to quickly touch on what I know everybody will already be asking, yes, the MetaQuest version is in the final stages of development and is set to launch in early 2026. Multiplayer is also well underway and fully playable internally, and is also set to launch in early 2026. If you want to support us in these final stages, the best thing you can do is wishlist RoboQuest on the headset that you like to play best. And make sure you're following us on all of our socials because we have more to share before launch. And finally, I just want to say thank you to the PSVR 2 community because you all rock.
I want to take a minute here and just remind everybody watching of all the simple ways you can support PSVR 2. 1. Wishlist PSVR 2 games. That simple action increases visibility for these games on the PlayStation Store way more than you could possibly imagine. 2. Just ask developers on social media if they can bring their game over to PSVR 2. Developers notice when communities speak up. 3. Keep sharing your favorite VR moments online, whether it's clips or reactions or first-time experiences. That kind of content genuinely pulls new players in. 4.
I agree with all this.
Keep giving developers constructive feedback. It helps them improve their games, and thus strengthens the platform long term. 5. Follow Impact Inc. and Flat to VR Studios on social media to stay ahead of future PSVR 2 news. 6. God, I hope there's not too many more of these. I'm going to run out of fingers. Subscribe to Without Parole and come join our Discord. It's where the most passionate PSVR 2 community hangs out.
I mean, he ain't wrong about that.
Like, comment, and share this video with every PSVR 2 gamer you know. Before we end PSVR 2 Day, I just want to say this. The passion, the honesty, and the persistence of this community is why any of this exists. The industry does hear you. And in fact, someone very special wants to say something to all of you.
Hello VR game fans, I'm Shuhei Yoshida. Thank you for supporting PSVR 2 for a long time.
Wow.
I know how passionate you are about VR games, and I'm a huge fan of VR games because they give us experiences that's never been possible in the flat screen games. Congratulations on this showcase. I'm very excited about learning about new games. Enjoy VR games and hope to see you soon. Bye.
I mean, come on. That's special. That's awesome. That's why we do this. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here for PS No Space VR 2 Day. Go wishlist the game, support the developers, and keep fighting for VR. Just know that if you're a regular viewer of the channel, we appreciate you being here. And if you're new and this is your first time seeing us, welcome to the family. We'll see you soon.
I'm not gonna lie, I still wish Brian had hosted the whole thing. Arlen, I need a picture of that in my Discord yesterday, please, sir. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that could have been much shorter. Because there was a lot of PSVR 2 fans are the best in the world, and I feel like that. And there's some that was like, can you get to the point a little bit faster, please? Like the V-Racer guy. That whole like 5 minute, however long, it felt like 20 minutes chunk could have been cut in half, but I don't know. I'm always going to be in the favor of shorter and snappier rather than like elongated and dragging it out. So that's generally how I feel about these things. So yeah, that's that. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad it was cool. It was a really cool thing to put together. Honestly, I just would have had Brian host it. I think Brian is more eloquent and more passionate, or speaks with more passion than half the people that were on that just now. Like, some of them are okay, and some of them were like super dry like this and just talking to the camera because they're a little nervous about being in front of the camera. Whereas I think Brian would have put that passion forward a little bit. So yeah, I'm glad it happened. If I were to do that again, I'd be like, hey Brian, you got the energy, man. You and Miles or whoever, y'all host it. So anyway, I think any VR specific events is a good thing. Yes, and we're gonna get a VR showcase next Thursday from Jamie Felton, and that'll be cool. It's there. Thank you, sir. Let's go take a look real quick. I was gonna pivot and say let's play Tetris because we're having such a good conversation. But I don't trust my internet right now because I've lag spiked 3 times this stream, so I don't trust my internet to maintain a connection long enough to play. I'll check that DM later. Holy shit, look at this. Hell, Gaben. Pass the Hopium decorative announcement next week. Come over here. Look at this. Look at that. That is freaking cool. I gotta raise my camera back up. Very nice. Very cool. That's good stuff, Arlen. Thank you for sharing, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, the other last thing. Honestly, I might end after this. I don't even know if I want to go into VR because I don't trust my internet right now, so I don't know how I feel about trying to play a game right now. Pimax reached out to me, and they're sending me to test. I have to return it. A Pimax Crystal Light, which is right here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end after this. So when I get this headset, at first I thought I was gonna do all the setup stuff on stream. I've since second guessed that because there's gonna come a point where I'm probably gonna have to unplug a monitor. And I'd rather do some of that testing off stream and then just kind of walk you through it, as opposed to me spending 2 hours fumbling around trying to play with settings and stuff to get the headset to work. So I think I'd rather do that off stream. But long story short, Pimax reached out to me. I've picked on Pimax quite a bit. I've been pretty open about their history of overpromising and under-delivering. So you know what? When they reached out to me, at first I was gonna say no. 100% I was gonna say no. But drinking Crystal Light right now. Okay. And Peach is disgusting, by the way. How dare you, Only? Get that out of here. I'm joking. Tease their own. I was like, you know what? I'll put my money where my mouth is, because I've just heard stories of how bad Pimax's support is and getting stuff set up. The Crystal line has now been around for, relax, Only help me out, well over at least a year, right? Like, didn't they start shipping these last summer? Or that might have been when they started taking pre-orders. I got my timelines mixed up. Long story short, it's been around for quite some time. So I would like to think they've got most of this stuff figured out. When did the Pimax Crystal first launch? Or when did you first hear about it? It's a better question. Maybe longer. Does it Farmer use one? Yeah, Farmer's used one for quite some time. I think he has a Super. I don't think he has a Light. So they offered me the Super and the Light, but after me talking to their rep over there and going over my computer specs, he flatly said the Super would not work for me.
The award-winning Amelia says, hi.
Hey, Amelia. So yeah, I'm getting one of these here pretty soon. We'll take a look at the specs real quick just so you can see. 17 million pixels, QLED panels, glass aspheric lenses. This is gonna be my first extended amount of time using aspheric lenses. I can't say that properly. Croy Somnium VR1 has aspheric lenses, and he told me it would take me a couple of weeks to adjust to that from pancake lenses. I will not use this as my daily driver because there's a whole bunch of Quest exclusive games coming out this month that I'm gonna want to play. But I am going to try keyword to stream exclusively from this headset. So PSVR 1 had the spheric lenses. Yeah, but I played that for maybe 30 minutes. I played that long enough to play Beat Saber and realize that those glow stick dildos they call controllers were terrible. Yeah, I said what I said, and anyone can clip it if they want to. I will stand on business. Those controllers were awful. Those glow sticks were awful. But yeah, I've never owned one. So in terms of like more than a couple of hours, this could be the longest amount of time I've been able to spend in aspheric lenses. I'm looking forward to it. So what else here? Scroll the don't assault dildos like that. It comes with integrated spatial audio, 6-star tracking, 6-star controllers. I do not have lighthouses and valve knuckles, so I am getting the controllers. So that'll be another thing that we test, is how good the tracking is. Optimized for the HBCs. Okay, whatever. It's recommended a 3070 and higher. That's exactly what I have, so we'll see how it goes. Are they at slam tracking? Where are the specs? They're way worse than I expected them to be, given how well they track when they were using like Wiimotes. Yeah. Where are the specs for this? The Crystal Light is Pimax's best-selling headset with proven stability and clarity. That's also good to know. That's about the company. Where is their... There we go. I'm getting the entry-level headset. Okay, we can look at this. So resolution is 2880 by 2880 per eye. QLED 35 PPD. That's pixels per bit. No, sorry. I had to sneeze for a second. 115 degrees of horizontal field of view, and the variable refresh rate of 7290 and 120. 72 is the standard for it. I was already confirmed on that. No matter what they say, they're sending you, let's say 2 years before it actually works that way. So don't worry about the specs. No, none of these are wireless. I'm getting it. It's all DisplayPort. They're way worse than I expected them to be, given how well they track when they were using them. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I already read that. Witness, what's going on, buddy? That's hilarious. Yeah, the Super is 3840 by 3840 per eye. There was no way my PC was gonna be able to do that. Dreamless wireless too. I want to say yes. I might be wrong here. I mean, you can't buy it now, so let's check real quick. No, I'm sorry. You're correct. The Dream is wireless. Russ, I kind of want to see that list, but not on stream. That'd be a fun game to play, but I'm not playing it on stream. Just passing by for a minute for bedtime. Envy passed on the media you were going to be test driving this thing. The Pimax do look spectacular. They do have that going for them. I am looking forward to getting my hands on this. The last DisplayPort headset I used was the DPVR E4, which was a Fresnel lens headset with the resolution of a Quest 2. It was basically a Quest 2 with a DisplayPort input. It had a lot of issues, but it had like compressionless VR going for it, which I actually quite appreciated, even though I only played most of the dark games on it, which didn't work well with LCD Fresnel lenses. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this and putting it through its paces. Earth Witness, I will most likely be asking you for some advice if I have some questions on setup, if need be. They did offer me a support person to help me set it up. I told them no, because if there's any friction, I don't want the fact that I had a direct line to a Pimax support person to influence my review. So I'd rather ask a friend who has one, like another consumer, or figure it out myself, because that'll factor into my review of it. So but yeah, shout out to Pimax for taking a chance on me. You will see a lot of this on stream, because I have to shoot all the B-roll for my eventual YouTube video that has to come out by the beginning of January. I'm trying to get it out before Christmas, but it depends on how fast the headset gets here. So yeah, that's that. We're getting that. The Dreams Wireless is 2016 but still pre-order. Yeah. What this shit is a Prime feed that they talk about. Oh yeah, you'll know about this. Okay, yeah, I'll show you that in a second. Good call on my crystal. The first friction spot is I have multiple. Yeah, I know. Everyone's told me that I can only have 2 at the most monitors. Every single person's told me that. If you have 3 plugged in, it literally won't boot the crystal. That's a problem for me. I have 3 monitors, but I can go to 2 monitors for the sake of the test. That's fine. I have a monitor that's not even 1080p over here. This is where Touch Portal and my PNG tuber is. I can shut that monitor off. I'm okay with that. But that's gonna make it really hard for me to stream because I cannot run game on one monitor, everything else on another monitor. That's gonna be very difficult. I'll make it work if I have to, but I'm not looking forward to it. I'll say that. So I don't know how Clay does it. I think Clay has 2 monitors, and I'm like, I can't do without 3 monitors. What'll probably end up happening is when I stream the Pimax Crystal Light, I'm probably gonna strip down everything else. So streamer bot will not be on, touch portal will not be on. So I'll probably shut off all the like there will be no channel point rewards other than stuff that's in my sound alerts because that's not through a browser source in OBS. But like mute my mic, the PNG tuber, that stuff will probably go away because I'm not gonna have the real estate to do that. Nor do I want to eat up the overhead that running streamer bot and speaker bot and all those have to go through. I'm using a USB to HDMI as a workaround. Witness, can you send me a DM on Discord with more specifics on that? Because I'd be curious how you did that. I used to have 3 monitors, but definitely affected my VR performance, so I went down to 2 until I got the pen monitor, but it's easy to disconnect. What's a pen monitor? And that's with a 4090. Yeah, I've still not been thinking about a lot about whether or not I'll get some overhead back. But frankly, I can count on one hand the number of VR games I cannot run. Cube, which I never tried without lowering my resolution. No Man's Sky, which I have to drop the render resolution to be able to run. Half-Life Alyx, which just ran like shit on stream, but I played the off stream and it was fine. Relax, can you DM that to me? Actually, I'll Google it in a second because we're not gonna play a game tonight. I've decided I'm gonna end after we're done with this conversation. So we'll do it now. What's this? Oh yeah, guys. Bootstrap Island was another one, and I'm blanking on the last one. Bootstrap Island ran like absolute dog shit on my PC. Interesting. For sculpting in Blender. Okay, interesting. Definitely out of my price range, but yeah, interesting. Your 3060 cries more than a few times with too many PC VR games. Yeah, and Arlen, how many monitors are in your setup, bud? Because I keep thinking about if I'm running a performance heavy game, whether or not I need to drop it to 2 monitors. But also the other part of me goes, if I can't stream this game with my setup, I have no desire to stream the game. Like people were telling me if I wanted to run No Man's Sky on like ultra mode, that I needed to like shut off everything else on my PC and just let No Man's Sky be the only thing running. I'm like, nah, I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. Optimize your game better. But I'm running a mid-tier PC. I don't expect to run games on ultra and VR. I never have. That's not been a thing. If I wanted that, I would spend $2,000 to buy a 4090 plus the PSU, plus the power supply unit required to drive it. So it has to work on my setup or I don't play it. For the sake of the fact that Pimax is sending me a very expensive headset, I'm okay to take a monitor down because I do have to review the entire thing. But yeah, there's only so much to count. Yeah, like that is not a game that really should like be able to be performing in VR. I get it. I totally get it. I wonder what headset I would like next. Interesting. Witness, I can't allow links here. Let's just make you a VIP. I'll fix the whole problem. There we go. Try to post your link again now, Witness. It should post. I just VIP'd you, so you should be fine. Rush, you don't need 600 tabs open. I'll say that straight up. You do not need 600 tabs open. But we've had this discussion in private. All right, what's this? No, you don't. You really don't. That's one I use currently. Unavailable aspect. Anything similar. Okay. What is wrong with you psychopaths who don't close your tabs? Okay, I got a question. Hold on. Do you have more than 12 tabs open right now? Yes or no? Vote in the poll. I'm very well aware that my stream is a lurker's paradise. Per window. Chip Richards video. All right, I got you. Yeah, we're gonna end after this. I really appreciate the discussion. It's been a lot of really good chat here. Arlen's right at 12. Okay. Just got my tracking info for the crystal. I'm gonna look at that off screen. Yes, in every browser you have open. Of course you do, Oni. Good God. Hang on. What a relax in. Oh my God. Relax, enjoy
The
life.
award-winning Amelia says, I only have 5 on my phone right now.
This is Relax's taskbar. Sir. Relax, why are you voting with channel points? Relax, this is nonsense. This is giving me the shakes, buddy. This is nonsense. Why do you have all this open? No, Russ, no one should love this. No, sir. Do not encourage this degeneracy. Brand's probably busy, but I'll have him watch this. But I know what they all are. That's like the people who have all their shit in their room, like sprawled out on the floor. You're like, but I know where everything is. It's in that spot on the floor. That doesn't mean it's okay. My God. Save for later. The later that never comes. The later that never comes. Oh God, that's triggering. That is triggering for me to look at. Your floor, Joe. Okay. Witness, are you still here? I got a question about this. You're all enabling. You're all enabling each other. You're all. Okay, so you have how many monitors are in your setup? I'm curious. So I'm curious how you're using this. Like, I'm thinking about how would I use this to stream, I guess. Three. Okay. Your work laptop. I don't want to see your work laptop. Relax. Please never show me that. I will probably have a spaz attack. Yeah, we've been talking for almost 2 hours, so I'm not gonna play a game tonight. I'm still getting over the cold. I can only spend like maybe an hour of VR anyway, so I'm fine with just calling it here. So Witness, when you play a game, what is this going into? At 3 monitors on display port or HDMI, Crystal wouldn't run. I moved one of those to USB, plug the Crystal into the display port, just like it would run. Okay. It's only 43 to get it. Only it's like it was 50 something here today. That's like freezing cold for the South. Okay. When this you may have, are there substitutes for this? By the way, I'm totally aware that I'm doxing myself because you can see my city and my zip code. I don't care. Austell is a very big city. To run out of shorts. I still wear shorts at work. Just because I have to walk around for work all day. So, like, the blood's pumping and that keeps me warm. Teehee. 63? I don't live there. My MacBook Pro struggled with USB to display port when I went USB-C to USB-C from my MacBook to my 4K. It worked fine. Okay. So yeah, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do all of the setup stuff on stream because that is a bad idea. I am going to do that setup stuff off stream. I might do it in Discord just so you can like hear me drop 50 F-bombs as I'm trying to plug this thing in. But all right, now I'm gonna have to drop a monitor, and that's okay. I can live with that. My motherboard unfortunately doesn't have an onboard graphics display. Like there's an HDMI slot, but it doesn't work. So I can't offload one of the monitors to my motherboard, which stinks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do have to return the Crystal Light too. I'm not getting to keep the unit. It is purely for review purposes, which I find really fascinating. And also, it's also telling me I've already bought a bunch of wipes. I'm going to clean that thing and desanitize that thing and disinfect that thing before it ever goes on my face, because I have no idea who had this thing before me. And speaking of someone who had a really bad case of COVID about a year ago now, I don't want to go through that again. I ain't trying to catch nobody's funk. No tuberculosis, no COVID, no smallpox, no yellow fever, nothing like that. No laundry dryer test. No, I'm not thrill seeker. I'm not thrill. As much as I wish I was, I'm not thrill seeker. That's not a thing. So that's that, guys. I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Thank you for the conversation. I really appreciate it. We'll be back on Thursday. Thursday we will actually play VR. We will do new release bingo, and then we will we'll hop into a game. We're gonna be playing some so Into Black with Faye again, because I had a lot of fun playing that last week. To developers of Drakkenridge, I'm very sorry. I should have probably thought about this better when deciding to stream when I was coming off of a cold, but such is life. We'll get back to it soon for sure. I will see you all on Thursday. I'm not gonna raid out. I'm just gonna end because I need to go take some medicine because my sinuses are starting to stuff back up. I drug myself up to get to this stream. I need to take more medicine. I need to go to bed. Into Black sounds like a porn title. Relax. The title of my stream last week was Into Black, title of your adult film. I tried to make it Into Black, title of your sex tape, just like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but Twitch was not having that at all. Just refused to do it. So I had to change it to title of your adult film. So yeah. If you look at my VOD and go on my channel, look at my VOD, the title of that stream is Into Black, title of your adult film. So I got it too. And speaking as a black man, yeah. It's like, I'm gonna say something horribly terrible and just understand I'm making a joke. If Relax and I started a porn together, it would be called Into Black. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Good night, everybody. Y'all have fun. I don't clip that, by the way. I just thought of that. Don't clip. 3, 2, 1. Wow, no one clipped it. Oh god.
Did somebody clip that?
Yeah. Only Kaze always coming through in the clutch. We're gonna do another stream where we just go over all this stupid shit I've said, and I'll probably be here for 2 hours just doing those clips. Wow, did it not go? Okay, there it goes. There it goes. I'll trim that down because that can be edited down now. We close some of this stuff. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you very much. Peace, love, peace, and chicken grease, and take care of yourselves. Do something for your mental health. I'm doing something for my mental health. I'm ending the stream before I get sick. I will see you all on Thursday. Bye, everybody. Peace.